Hello, my dear chess friends. Today I'm just doing a quick review of the second round of New Zealand Chess Championship, so-called Congress. And here we'll have these following pairs. So first, board number one, Grandmaster um, Elshan was playing against Ryan Winter, and well, that was pretty much um, straightforward. Um, the opening that the Grandmaster chose was basically a reversed Sicilian defense here with extra tempo. As if you look at that, you will see the Scheveningen system here, of course. So that resembles, you know, um, that. Well, basically, what happens is once the grandmasters play, they just try to kind of feel the position, and once you make an error, they just come after you and kill basically like a so standard maneuvering here, then taking, going there. So you notice that white has got an extra pawn already, right? It's like um, you know um, quite interesting observation, right? So it's like going there, developing. Pardon me for not going to really detailed analysis. I'm just kind of briefly overviewing the game here, and taking there, right? So currently it is all still pawn down. So taking here, proposing the queen exchange. Um, Black forces that, then um, improves the position of the pieces. Goes down, taking the check, going away, taking f3, and by now black actually resigned. I would just need to understand why it is resigned. I believe that g4 is coming, but that's my first suggestion, right? So g4, then he goes there and checkmate. So therefore, the king was in a bit of a vulnerable position here, and yeah, the grandmaster basically um, um, outplayed the opponent. Okay, now next one, Sami Shocker, the grandmaster from Egypt, was playing against Edward Reigns. So here it comes again, the um, English opening, which was transformed to kind of Slav defense, but now suddenly it became Reti opening. Right, so here we go. The problem here also is that the black light square bishop is still not um, beyond that side of the chain, pawn chain, right? So yeah, so that's how it goes. And it resembles basically the game of Ricard Reti against I don't remember who it was, but he just played something like this way, then went with the queen to the c. Oh, sorry, the rook was there, going there, and then another rook came to c1, and yeah, that's just interesting play of Ricard Reti. So going there, well, technically black is not too bad here. The strong center, well, all the pieces are developed, so yeah. Now he starts to kind of stir, and he goes with knight b5, attacking the bishop. Would black allow to exchange? No, he doesn't. So then a3. So still the exchange happens in probably even a better edition, because this way white is also developing his pieces and the rooks are connected. So yeah, in the knight on b5 is still kind of active. So yeah. Right there, the knight goes back, d4. Well, I'm not quite sure if it was forceful to go there. Yeah, probably the development of the rooks would be better, to my opinion. I don't know, but yeah, okay, d4. a4, then b3 is attacked, right? So a4 taking, going there, going there. Now looks like, well, black is better here, in fact. So Edward Reigns was having having good game by this moment, and yeah, I was underestimating that push because yeah, well, it's a tactical sequence, and black actually wins a pawn here. Okay, going next. A4. Okay, going there. So black tries to exchange all the pieces. Okay. Okay, till now it is look seems like, well, still at least equal. And now the whole thing just starts to, well, this one e3 by white is actually quite strange. Taking, taking, defending d3, going there, exchanging. All this like long time maneuvering is, yeah, creating an escape square, going there. Now here looks like black starts to lose the grip, right? But what would you do? Well, definitely I'm not quite sure about that move. I would prefer something even like that, maybe. Was this under attack? Yeah, this was. So if somebody takes, we just take. Yeah, this whole thing is gonna be shaky, but well, still okay. Right, uh, going there. Going there. Now it is really kind of white has some advantage in here. So this rook keeps going back and forth. He will. Okay, so he definitely tries to exchange the rooks here, but taking there, taking there. Why wouldn't you take here? Because of that, right? Okay, so taking there was definitely a mistake. But why this move was a mistake? That's what we need to understand here. Okay, Mr. Engine. So, takes d7, rook takes this. Okay, so the best move was h5. Ah, okay, okay, disrupting. Yeah, I was thinking about that. So just disrupting the connection. So he goes away, and we're going. Oh, attacking the rook, exchanging the rooks, and again, black has got some initiative here, taking the pawns. Yeah, the knights are quite strong here, surprisingly. All this kind of thing is quite. Yeah, this is quite interesting, but still looks like white has got some advantage in here. Okay, DC taking there. Right, well, here you see that, well, with the exchange of everything, white emerges with extra pawn, and for the grandmaster, it's not gonna be too hard to convert that. So that's what happened here. I also noticed that he fixates the pawns on the dark squares. Here we go, and the pawn moves forward, as well as those ones are gonna be just clipped. Yeah. Okay, well, technical win for sure. Now we've got Ben Thomas against Nicholas Crode, going there. It looks like some kind of really passive collie opening again. And Nick goes with the King's Indian structure. E5. This move is, yeah, well, technically in these positions, black shouldn't really weaken the g6 pawn because sometimes it's like a really nice target here, especially with this battery. But well, yeah, whatever is played. opening the center, fair enough, because white stands quite passively here. Going forward, spending more time to relocate the knight. Black should be fine. Oh, okay, so that doesn't seem healthy. Definitely taking. Going there, attacking the queen, attacking again, going away, taking. In fact, white's position is not too bad, right? Well, computer says it's +1 here, uh, which, yeah, well, those knights are quite strong, right? And then the gradually, yeah, changing the rooks and allowing him to have that, like, like attacking the weak pawn here, and here he completely loses the point, attacking the knight, and here is really nice and to remove, in fact, right? So here we go. The queen needs to go away, and the mm, bishop there is gone. The pawn comes forward, and that gains the essential tempo here. The bishop goes back. Now black has got advantage. But looks like again black was playing inaccurately, and white intercepted the d5 was attacked. Yeah, relocating the queen with tempo again. Just going there, taking here. Okay, so black didn't really stand the pressure, looks like. And what happened is, why would he? What was the combination of that? So the okay. Oh my goodness! So now white didn't really take that and went away. So he probably thought like, well, if he takes, check goes away, check, covering. Okay, and looks like white has got an extra piece here, right? The computer analysis is quite interesting, but in real life, it looks like it is quite dangerous. It seems like really dangerous, right, for white. But here we go. So he didn't take, and he went back again. Moving the pieces back is probably not a really good idea. Taking here. Still, black has got some advantage here. And yeah, white loses the grip entirely here. They were not in such a, yeah, taking. Well, this is the winning rook end game, so he probably thought like he was gonna go there, but black doesn't really need to change the rooks, right? So by that, white resigned, and yeah, well, the number of pawns here is just overwhelming, of course. Now Anthony Kerr played against Nick Cummings. So let's just see Caro-Kann defense, exchange variation. Uh, that's an interesting move. Going there, should be 5, taking, and then just developing the pieces here, right? So the h2 is under attack, needs to defend that. I watched those games in live, like when what's they were coming in, and here comes interesting moment. So this take here looks like it is coming for the Greek's gift, right? So just going there, check. He goes away. The queen comes, but in fact, black has got this move, knight to um, g6, and there is no check on h8 anymore. Still, white has got a lot of significant advantage in here. So going there, yeah, right. Going back. Was what was the better move? G6. Sometimes that works too, but it is really hard to get make that step forward, because, well, in this case I think that, well, black's pieces are really near, and white hasn't got a lot of stuff in here, right? So if he goes there, for example, what happens? We can go, I think, if f5. It is the usual case here. If he goes check, we simply take. he takes, but we're still emerging like extra piece here, right? So here we go. But what happened? He went back. That allowed another combination here, which was starting with taking here. Again, I believe that this one was still the very valid continuation, and that's what computer actually confirms. So he goes g6, going the check, he goes away, then oh gosh, rook takes. So now look, if he takes, we take with the knight, and it's a fork, and we're winning the queen here, right? So taking there, this is the beast. Taking here, he takes, check, goes away, check with the rook, goes there. If he goes that way, it's again check, or this way check. He wants to go away, and it's a checkmate on e8. Okay, so he covers, then we go that way. My god, well, that's definitely computer play for sure. It's really hard to find that one. Alright, so here. Okay, so what happened is what happened in the game though, he took on e6, then he retook one piece, check, going there, taking with the rook, another rook comes in, and here I believe, well, that's a really interesting position here. Couldn't you go that way? Take here, rook left. Probably not, because it seems really dangerous. But what would the computer say here? So if it comes there, can we go that way? Oh, it is not. It's +8. Okay, okay. So now this was the case, and black seems like still holding. Well, an extra piece would probably do. Yeah, that's what I would think. So he brought another rook in. That's actual game. So going there, went away. It is still equal. And white now needs to maneuver somehow to get to the enemy's king, but it's not really easy to do, frankly. Now rook here, and it is a fatal mistake. So why was it a mistake? Because white goes g5, and then this g7 square is under attack. So the only way to go that way, then he goes that way in order to checkmate him here. He goes away, simply taking, taking, taking. Now checkmates here are available. Going there, coming up, say going there, there, there. So the queen is pushed away from here, and no matter where it goes, what the hell is going on here? Taking, taking, taking. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So here black lost grip, and that allowed him to white to basically win the whole thing. Check, going away, trying some desperate combinations here, just taking, and that's it. No checks whatsoever. Checkmate on f7 is unavoidable. Okay, great win. But it looks like, well, what kind of bothers me is that, well, actually Anthony Kerr is the international master, right? And here, once this combination is performed, I know that he is probably going, like, yeah, this one, taking with on a e6. I know that he is probably um, quite confident because he's got greater technique, more experience, and so on. But in fact, that particular sample shows that, well, even the international masters don't really play well in terms of accuracy. Okay, so that's a kind of dangerous sign. Now, Ole Archer, who is, I think, is a junior New Zealand champion, played against Daniel Gong. It is kind of it's Dutch defense, right? But it is a really weird stuff with knight c3 and bishop g5. So it comes to the um, Leningrad um, variation. Going there, f5, taking, taking, taking there, changing queens, check, goes there. And in fact, well, this position is kind of. I don't think white has got any advantage in here for sure, but well, it seems really solid. Okay, c6, going there, um, a4, probably to avoid any kind of counterattacks here. Now this check comes there, knight goes in, going there, knight goes to b5. And here, this is a little bit of a tricky moment. Um, that's obviously I studied this game by the way, and that is obviously the idea which happened in the game with this attack here. So took going or even d5 here, going there. So the idea is to give a check and win the rook. Okay, so king goes away, so there is no check anymore. He still goes to c7. The rook goes away. And here comes the thing. I was thinking that white was not actually against a draw in this case. So he goes back to d5. And, well, Daniel doesn't really go away with the rook. He goes forward with the knight. And in this position, well, okay, he can fork and win the exchange back, right? Cool. So I would reckon maybe we should just go with the main variation, but well, white is, bear in mind, white is up a piece down at the moment, right? So for what is this whole thing? That's what kind of I'm curious with. So we can take on b5 maybe, then he goes and forks, we take here, he takes, we take back, and in fact what happens is we are still emerging like equal number of pieces everywhere. And actually white wins a pawn in this case. So let's just see. So if we go there, taking, say, well, what would he do? He takes, right? So that was the whole idea with the move. We take here, say he takes here, we retake here. Oh no, we don't appear pawn up because, yeah, I got it. But here, what happens is black would still need to kind of develop, right? Because this flank is actually undeveloped. Both of us have two bishops, so yeah, the position still seems equal to me. Let's just verify what the computer says about that. So computer says minus zero point 0.5, minus zero point 0.4, so equal, I would say. So that was quite an interesting variation which I just saw now. So in this case, yeah, well, I believe that, well, even simple taking was actually not too bad. So he takes here, we can always take. So it's basically permutation of the position, right? Just a permutation. So he went to d2, protecting, but now what happens is the knight to e6, actually attacking that uh, bishop d6. Sorry, bishop e6, attacking the knight on d5, and if he takes, which happened in the game, in fact, he takes on d5. He retakes on d5, which is actually a mistake by the computer, because this was the best move. This was the best move to get away with the bishop and avoid the tempo playing here. So going there, and in fact, what we've got, mm, we have two pieces for a rook with some pawns as well. So that was not too bad. But what happened in the game is he took on d5 with the rook, which allowed tempo move, attacking the rook and also attacking the bishop here. He took, the bishop was gone, and in fact, what happened? We still have a rook for two pieces, but white is not really developed in here, and black is to take another pawn. So it's definitely more inferior. So check here, sure. Now going with the rook up, taking there. Yep, rook goes in, going there. King goes in. Okay, well, okay, king goes in. He goes there, attacking the bishop, going there, taking, and basically, well, now it is not too late to resign probably for black, for white, sorry, because black has got like three pieces for a rook now. That's crazy. Going there, taking, going away. White tries to do something, well, exchanging pieces definitely doesn't help in this case, and pawn goes in. Take, take. Yeah. Well, three pieces for a rook. That's definitely it. So here is a nice thing. Right. Uh, well, technically here he resigned because yeah, the pawn comes in, and that was just moving the kings. You know, like once the game is finished on the digital boards. Now, interesting game which was played against David Silly Vincenti against Mike Steedman, who was one of once New Zealand champion, in fact. So here it goes, and Mike chooses this defense which he plays for both sides, and um, which is a little bit passive, but he knows his way throughout that. It's really hard to infiltrate to the black's position. But here white plays against him quite an interesting game because they're developing. So this is basically Queen King's Indian, but the bishop is not fianchettoed here on a g7. It is on e7 instead, which makes that actually, well, the position is slightly worse in my opinion. So castling. So here we go. d5 is played. The knight goes to c5, attacking e4. Knight goes and defends, and that is actually a typical structure of the King's Indian defense in here. One of the plans is actually to protect that pawn, then go and exchange the knights, or to go before like the bayonet attack similarly. Therefore, black should play a5 to prevent that before move, and yeah, he did. b3, and now white gradually pushes the pawn still. So that's what happens. a3 goes there. b4 take ace h6. Not quite sure about that move. Okay, knight goes there. Wouldn't that be? Yeah, he would need to go and push forward right away, I think. But that's what happened later on. The pawn is immune because the rook was actually hanging. Going b5, going there. b6, interesting. Now exchanging the rooks. White computer says that white has got significant advantage by playing on a7. Okay, but he just changed. Okay, now taking on c6 was better, but he goes c5. Okay, taking on d5, taking with the pawn, going rook. So he prevents c6 for sure or something, or maybe even taking here. Cool. f4, also not quite sure about this move. Well, it's easy to say because computer puts the marks there, right? So I will just turn that off. But yeah, f4 going forward, g4. He starts to attack suddenly on the king's side. Taking, sure, g5. And here it is an interesting moment because computer says it's a global mistake kind of here. Why? We need to understand why. Because that goes that way. Knight takes d5 was an option here. What happens if we take? This comes, right? And this knight is gone. And black is actually better here. Interesting. Oh, I beg your pardon, I've got some of the... I just need to mute that one. Just got a message. Sorry about that. Okay, so here we go. But it was taking here, knight h7. Well, again, knight here is probably not located the best because that's always going with this push, right? And that's what happened later on. This is going to be another blunder, kind of taking with the queen. This is kind of dynamic, so it's still like in white's favor. Then g6, yes, g6 push, but that is actually wrong. My goodness, knight d4 was better. After g6, yeah, this push comes, right? Yep. Okay, but nevertheless, Mike didn't really use that. He taking here, check. He goes and covers. Now knight d4 plus played. Queen takes d5 is a mistake. It seems like this game was quite with quite a lot of mistakes, but from humans' side, that doesn't seem like there were mistakes. In fact, so yeah, computer obviously finds ways of getting quite dangerous initiative here. Yeah, and by this one, I think knight f5, going back, c7. This dangerous pawn is just yeah. And now he took. And that's an interesting point because if you take with the rook, there's this check coming, and then the queen is gone. Or if he takes with the knight, we just stand and put another piece on the board, and we are merging piece up. It is definitely winning. So Mike resigned here. Now another battle of two titans, Robert Smith and Nigel Midge. Nigel used to play well quite strongly, and he had really long break which basically kind of probably after this break he didn't really play well, but still he's quite. I mean, not well compared with what he was before, like his rating, etc. But he's still quite a strong player. So this one is some kind of a French defense with a lot of delays with the moves, but basically here exchange happens. Okay. Exchange of the queen happens. And in this position, well, this position is equal in fact. Right, yeah, well, black has got this e6 pawn, like old time in French, but how to use that? So Bob broke on the queen's side, gave him another weak pawn, but seemingly, um, you know, similarly, white has got the pawn here, b2, and still the position is okay. Now it looks like a mistake here. That's what computer says, and that's why. So the knight goes really passive. Okay, nice rook maneuver, getting to the 7th rank, winning the pawn. King goes and covers that, taking there, taking, rook to b7. Here, well, that's what computer says. White has got advantage, not a significant one, but check here, goes away, check here. So the rooks are exchanged, and here virtually white has got an extra pawn. The material is limited, but it is still like white who's playing for a win here for sure. Okay, going there, breaking the chain, going back, going forward, attacking the knight, trying to exchange that, going forward with the king, going there. So here the position was actually equal. That push probably changed way too many pawns, and that's what in fact black should go with, I believe. Just taking here, right? Check, getting there, knight e7. That gave passer here, but black could easily block it, I believe. Let's just see what happens there. Okay, going there. Ah, another pawn break here. And here he needs to take. And there is really weak material that is left. So yeah, that definitely is going to be a draw probably. Yeah. Okay. Two. Going there. Okay. Another move of the knight. Instead of that, again taking the pawn would be better. It's always better with exchanging the pawns, in fact. Taking there, taking there. Now, white gradually improves the position. Now the king goes away. Well, why would you go in front? That's what I was thinking. Yeah, oh, f7. Just going there. Okay, a lot of maneuvering is happening. Then white basically goes with his king forward, and that would allow him to push the pawn. So he goes there, check, relocating the knight, and the pawn goes and queens basically. So he can't go there, he goes backwards. Now he queens, wins the knight, and therefore black resigned. Cool. Next one, Leo McLaren plays against Zerui Zing. Um, and that was an interesting and really intense game. Actually, that's a really interesting play of how White, interprets the French defense here. Uh, Basically, giving the sitting the bishop on this long diagonal right away, but it looks like it is not really good for White. This whole variation, and that's what confirmed that game as well as the theory. Changing everything there. Well, that kind of push is a little bit dangerous in my opinion. Okay, going forward. Taking, so here black takes the pawn. Okay, and here I was watching this game, and here I thought like, well, okay, but yeah, the queen is actually away, but it can still go back and play like via the diagonal or something. And also like this pawn is unprotected, so yeah, and that's what he used. So going there, taking on e6, taking. Okay, and here comes an interesting move. I just need to understand what the motive of the combination is. So suppose if he takes, ah, okay, okay, check here, right? That's the thing. Rook cannot protect the e1 square, so here he is threatening checkmate. That's why he goes e3, but the computer says it's a mistake. We need to go rook to queen to g3, protecting the first rank. Okay, so he goes that way, taking, check, and this is a fatal mistake it looks like, because, well, black has got advantage now. He's got an extra pawn. So here check gives away all the advantage. He need to get his rook into play, basically, right? Okay. Check goes away, covers with the bishop. Still, black's position is a little bit more comfortable, kind of, but this pawn is hanging in that, so taking, going forward, improving the king's position, looking out the queen. So here, well, black tries to create some of the attack here, taking 6. Still the position is equal as per the engine, so it goes there, going there, check, going forward, taking here, and here it comes. A really intense game, so check here, and then the knight comes in, and then it's check, perpetual check here. Yeah, I remember one game of mine I played against guy called Don Eid. So and there was a chance that I could have taken. I lost an exchange, but then there was similar pattern there where the knight and the rook allowing me to do the perpetual, but I missed that and I lost the game. Okay, next one. Okay, Russell Dive, famous IM. Also, he was one of the champions of the New Zealand some time in the past, don't remember the years, against Nadia Braganza. Nadia is quite a talented young girl, playing for, I believe that she was even playing for, I might mistake, but she was playing for the Olympics as well. So here we go. Interestingly, I also played this opening as white against her, which is the symmetrical English. Well, this move was played. I also played it as black, by the way, both sides. This move was played by Paul Garbett against me, and the idea is to exchange the bishops here. So the best idea is to go with the well, that move was slight inaccuracy because now white could play um, um, bishop to f6, but he played g5 instead. Rook went away, so the, then he went g3. And here, well, white doesn't have that much advantage, right? So playing b4 right away, cool. a3. Now pawn goes forward. Bring another rook in. d5. Well, yeah, that would be quite dangerous to give that kind of stuff to white, like this pawn. Couldn't you just go somewhere like, I don't know, taking? Maybe taking is the beast because that pawn will be really weak and he would get majority on the queen side as well with all this like nice bishop in here. So yeah, that doesn't seem healthy to me. Taking there, taking. Oh, by the way, he wins the pawn, but here probably that was the counter um, attack, taking on a3. But well, that bishop here is gonna be. It will be taking too tempy to get that back somewhere. Going away, yeah. Rook goes. She offers a trade. Taking. And now going there. Couldn't you just trade? Taking here, right? So check, going away, check, going there. Yeah, White's position seems quite okay to me. I don't know. Taking, so he does just Russell doesn't want to exchange everything. So taking here would be dangerous because the bishop might not even return from here. He takes, then b3, and that bishop is gonna be hanging, so she needs to go check, then go back there to protect it, but all of the black's pieces will be just you know awful. So now another pawn goes, and basically that's it. Yeah, so here it is just matter of technique here. Taking, changing, of course. Just go there, creating a pass pawn, and here we go. Black resigned. Now Ko Yan, who actually drew against an IM, um, Herman Rimsdijk, Van Rimsdijk. So now he plays against Ben Haig, but he chooses some kind of unconventional um, defense here, and Ben reacts quite immediately with the locking the center here. So he goes this way, and yeah, that doesn't really give White any advantage in here, but yeah, the play should be still very accurate, right? So it goes there, winning the exchange, but for the exchange, Black has got two bishops and really nice position in the center, like the pawns, with all the possibility to create an attack against the king. Blowing the center, yep. Look at the center. It's definitely worth the exchange. There, there. Well, a lot of kind of things here. Okay, get there. H6 going away. Black is already winning here because with this center it is just quite obvious. Opening the king's position, and then pawn goes, and White resigned. Okay, now my friend Timothy Ha plays against Herman van Riemsdyk this way, and he starts with the Catalan opening. That's exchange variation. so far this is theory, and here well, that was the old move, which is called bishop to g5. Currently what it see that bishop to f4 is actually the one that is um, basically in theory it is probably the beast, but nevertheless, so g5 is playable totally. Going there to oh, he counterattacks, right? So here queen to c1 definitely going there. uh, bishop knight d2, bishop goes away, and here he goes rook to e1. That is, well, just one game there, which was a win for white. But basically what white needs to do is to prevent the c5 push in this case. And for that, that move was to be played. Okay, so c5 is the main counterplay here by black, and that's what it needs to, white needs to be stopped here, right? So here he played e1. I'm just wondering if black played. No, he still prepares c5, which is going to be even more powerful with the rook standing there. Queen goes away. Well, there was no necessity to go that way, in fact, right? Computer recommends e4 here, and it's quite an interesting way as well. Strong center, yeah. Okay, and here comes c5, e4, just one move later, a5, going there, changing, going to there. So this is going to be quite a nice spot for the knight, of course. So h4, I'm not quite sure why. Maybe going with the knight to g5, but to me, yeah, it's a little bit of a waste of tempo here. Definitely queen to d2 would be developing. Okay, going there. Now this is the nice spot for the knight for sure. Well, so we control that, going there, taking, going to d5. d5 is really extremely nice square for the knight. Just going and supporting that would be nice, and then the pawns on the queen side will go and crush everything. So he goes back, going there. Here we go. Knight comes here. Well, with probably some of the ideas of going there. But h6, knight needs to go away. Still, the d6 uh, uh, square is really nice for that knight. Going there, attacking v2. Um, yeah, because getting there wouldn't really help, would it? He would sacrifice, then take here, and then those pawns will smash everything, right? Was that a2 here the main move? I'm not quite convinced. What would computer say? Does computer say a2? Yeah, that's how I would predict it. Why would I go to a2? That's a bit strange. Okay, going there with a knight, so there's no like checks here whatsoever. Okay, a5. Ooh. Okay, going back with the bishop, going away. Cool. Well, that seems to me like slightly suspicious for black. Okay, taking. Now the position is kind of, yeah. Computer says it's equal. Yep, I would probably agree. Going there. Rook goes somewhere. Uh, why? Why would I put it here to block the pawn? Okay, going there. F4. I wouldn't really rush with those kind of moves. What was the idea? Just if it goes there, just to protect everything, right? Just so there is no breaks or anything. So white plays extra solidly here, but that gives black quite a lot of stuff, like going here exactly. That's what he's doing, changing, and then the pawn structure is, you know, good for black. Taking, 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 taking with the queen. Black has got significant advantage now, so going there. Um, wouldn't that be better? He could take here. We could protect. Goes forward. Still winning for black now. Okay, rook there. Queen to c3. And that's interesting. So protecting. Going e3. What for? e3, okay. Going forward. Checking. Going away. Queen goes there. Okay, so now we can simply take the pawn, right? No, we don't. If we take, that is the idea, right? Then we're simply going away. And we also threatened that to bother the enemy's kings, therefore it would be a draw. Team, he could really hold that one, in fact. Yeah, check there, goes away. Now the problem is that there is no follow-up check here, but white's king and the rook here are... Yeah. It's still a draw here, the computer says it's still a draw. So going there, that's not a fatal mistake in here. So going there, check, going there, rook comes here, okay. Still okay. Pawn push here. Ooh. Rook is attacked going forward. Now he's threatening checkmate. Check. Going away. And here it is checkmate in one. Right? So has to go away. Check. Cover. Check. Cover. The pawn goes. Ah, yeah. That was a painful stuff. Ah. Going there, Caro-Kann defense, going forward, some kind of advanced with c5. Basically it comes to some kind of range structures, but yeah. Some kind of combination here, which by some reason gave black advantage, so it looks like not a really good combination. Check. There, and there. Taking here. So technically black is a piece up here, but those pawns are actually really strong, so he needed to watch out. So he goes there. Not exactly sure why the rook needs to go in and push the pawn, like with tempo give the pawn to push. Right, so going there. The pawns are quite strong, but white is like a rook, missing a rook, right? Like goes there, king goes away. Excuse me, why? Why h5? Okay, h5. Now pawn push, which seems kind of dangerous, but what does that achieve really? Knight goes there, sure. But yeah, well, okay, so this is a mistake, that's what it says. But the computer also recommends knight e8. And the pawn basically comes in, and yeah, he can't really go anywhere. Gosh, that's kind of interesting and beautiful, but black has got some advantage in here. And how would that happen that white wins here? Interestingly, guys, look, here it says that rook should go to e8. The computer says, right? The computer says rook should go to e8. Then it stands for a while and it says like, well, actually black should go either with this rook or king to h7 because that thing loses. And he plays e8 exactly as the engine says in the depth, then goes there. And that's why this was winning. Interesting, really interesting. Why? Goes there. So here, computer on the show depth says that it is the move, but now king goes there, and that's basically going there, taking, taking, taking. Gosh, queen, taking, and here, well, black still has got some advantage here, but it is already kind of drawish. Yeah. Well, that's really interesting actually. Mm. Jasmine plays with Leila Temirgazi. So Jasmine is d4 player. Never saw her playing anything else. So she goes there. This is the Rubinstein variation with knight to g to e2. So here we go. It develops. The knights are maneuvering towards the king's side. Going back. And now pawn push. And here we'll... let's just see how she goes with that. So playing with this bishop back and forth, okay, changing, cool, still kind of equal here, right? So okay, b6, well, what for, not sure. It's going there, going there. So now c7 pawn is extremely weak, but okay. g6, well, one shouldn't make those kind of moves without solid grounds. So here, this is definitely weakening kings. Oh my god, this move is just a killer. I think that's, yeah, going there now. c7 is under attack. Yep, with tempo. Now the pawn goes. Now this is the check here, which is threatened. So black should react to that. Knight goes away, and the black's king's position is ruined. This check is, oh, this one is coming. Then the rook can go there, check. Wow. Has to take, yeah. Taking there, check here. Another rook is hanging. Interesting, very interesting. So going there, one more pawn falls. White has got an extra pawn in exchange. Black's king is completely bare, so black resigned. But gosh, g6, h5, those kind of moves out of your king is just, yeah, it's not good enough. Okay, Michael Saul plays against Jonathan Davis. Here we go. The Najdorf, ladies and gentlemen. So Mike plays bishop to e3, which is English attack, of course. Now this is the variation of English attack without f3, but h3 is quite an interesting move here as well. So going d5 right away, my goodness. Could you play this way? Probably can, but taking with the queen is probably better here. But okay, taking with it, okay, going there. So now the idea is to take the pawn, okay? Now once he played this way, the bishop to e4 seems like giving white some advantage in here, but now it doesn't. So what happened in the game? Okay, g6 going to h6. Okay, going there, f4. So the king is stranded in the center, therefore Mike tries to open up the position here. Okay, so going back, um, look into watch after c2, of course. Going there, going there. Okay, bishop is safe. And now starts an interesting maneuver. Well, currently, black has got, well, slightly worse position, but with this consolidation and then just castling, probably it's gonna be fine. But here black starts some kind of adventure which cost him the game. So he takes, he goes and takes here. Whoa, that's, did you really count? Taking, 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 sure. So what's the deal? To take everything here as well? Getting the check. Taking, taking here, taking here, check. Bishop just blocks and black doesn't have anything. Just lost position. 2 pieces short. Just awful. Yeah. Looks like everything was sacrificed, but in fact, yeah. And the last game, which is the 15th Oscar, Chin was playing against Hao Tang, and Oscar was he's quite a sharp tactical player, and he knows some theory as well. So here in opening, he's got a beautiful position in which he basically, um, from which he won the game. He won the piece, and he was by all means supposed to be winning the game. C6 is a little bit strange. H6, H4 comes, and here, well, I think Black just forgot that his queen is under attack by that, and also, yeah, he played a really strange move, which allowed White to take on D7. The only way he needed to do is to take with the king, otherwise he would be losing a piece here, and that's what exactly happened. He took with the knight. Here we come. The bishop is stranded, nowhere to go. He took here, which is even worse, taking there. White is +7 here. But watch what happened next. And I could, like proudly say like that Hao was actually defending really well. He was not really in despair, so he defended well, and spoiling further on the game actually ended with a draw. I don't understand how one could not use the advantage of one pawn here, one piece, sorry, here for winning. That was quite disastrous actually. Taking the air, exchanging everything. Then once somebody wins a piece, they get relaxed, and I understand perfectly. Oscar is quite a young player, so he's probably got really elated now that he can win anyhow. And in fact, it was true, but he started to play really slack in here. Goes there. What for? I mean, why wouldn't you just change that? If you take there, yeah. Well, another rook comes in, changing everything. Just exchange everything. I mean, come on. You're a piece up. So go in there. Some kind of interesting, discover checks in here as well. He could take pieces here and there. Going back. Now, white is already like having only +2. Another pawn is actually going to be under attack, whatever. So goes there, just starts some kind of weird maneuvering. G6, what for? I mean, why G6? Come on. Why would we give black so many pawns in here? Takes check. Now there is the advantage is only 1+7, so gradually, white loses all of the advantage. He's got an extra piece here, but black just starts to take over. Again, it is +2 here, and in this position, I don't know why, but probably white offered the draw because he thought like some more, and those pawns are gonna be moving, and he will find himself in worse position. But currently here it is plus 2.6 for white, so he could safely continue going for a win. So if black goes like here, goes there, going there. Now if black goes back again, you can start attacking the pawns. Okay. So the pawn goes there, you're taking another pawn. It is quite scary here that those pawns are going forward, frankly. And it's basically like human-wise, I understand why he offered the draw. Yeah. But before that, before he allowed that kind of stuff here in the center, the position was quite good. White's position was winning. You could just change pieces there and go for the win one end game. Well, c'est la vie. That's happening sometimes. Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, hello, Wohin. How are you doing? Sorry, I was just not looking into the chat hole, so I'll just reply to you. Um, Hi, what's up? Interesting play, just games here, and yeah, I'll definitely be following up that stuff tomorrow. Okay, guys. So with that, I would probably finish the stream. It was good 1 hour for reviewing the championship, and I'll be back tomorrow during the day solving tech purely. Uh, Till then, I would say goodbye. Take care. See you later.